Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Lilu nishmasi mimorosi ruspas Mordechai. I heard it. If you can work, I can work on mine. Okay. Rebelli. Just a little chizuk from the Sephardic department of MDY. Last month's Shabbat, I was listening to the beginning of the Hebrew Shir on the Samach Gimel, and I loved how you were talking about the Moroccan minyan you went to. The warmth, the singing, the fire. You sound like you were ready to switch to Nusach Hadot Mizrach right then and there. And the Musa you gave the Israelis, beautiful, classic. But I'll be honest, I'm sitting there thinking, Yalla, now he's going to give a little Musa to the Americans too. But in Samach Gimel, for the English Shir, poof, it wasn't there. Avada wasn't there. Americans don't need it. It's the Israelis that need it. No, sometimes I forget. So I'll tell you what happened. I don't know if I don't remember. I thought I said this in both shiurim. I was in Eilat. Why was I in Eilat? I went to open up a satellite location. That's the only reason. Thank you. So, no, it happens to be we opened up a satellite location. When I was there, a guy knocked on the door, 12 o'clock in the morning, and gave me the bottle of wine that I showed you. So, Meir Maimon. But when I was there, we had a daven. So most of the minyanim there are Sephardic minyanim. So I had the schos for the first time in my life to daven a Moroccan minyan. The rabbi, who has a little experience, we shmuz with him after daven. He says, "Listen, we start by karbanot." So I said, "Okay, so when do you get to Baruch Hu?" That was like a new one to him. He says, "I don't know when we get to Baruch Hu, but I'll tell you when we get to Baruch Sha'amar." Baruch Sha'amar, 45 minutes. I was like, "Excuse me, Nachamal?" 45 minutes. And from Baruch Sha'amar to Yishtabach, it's another 30 minutes. So kids, he says, you can come an hour after we start. So we come an hour after he starts, and there's like no seats left, like the whole place is 2 seats. And they go from the beginning of davening, from Karbanos, all the way to the end, word for word with a song. They have a niggin for everything, and everybody is on the same page, everybody's doing the same thing. Kriyas HaTorah, and you're talking about people, some of them are Mesorati. They'll put on the yarmulke just as they come into the shul. Kriyas HaTorah, every single person's looking in, following every single word. I didn't see a single person in the entire shul wave to a friend, blink to anybody, no remuzim, no hand signals, nothing. Everybody's standing for 3+ hours, word for word, and they enjoy it. It wasn't once a week, it was the night before. It was the mincha also, same thing. They do the karbanas from beginning to the end, and they have to stick in another kapitel telemer, another mishaberach over there. One thing they were very good at, for Ashkenazi, Birkas HaChodesh. Chazan says, you hear that, Tzom Fanecha, 3 things, done. But they don't have any Karlebach songs, they don't have, nothing on their, everything's from the Haim. And they all know it. You coming from another place, you're saying it with them, word for word. So I said every Ashkenazi should go to one of these Moroccan minyanim at least once in their life, for a number of reasons. Number one, you learn chashivas of tefillah, how a person sits, no talking, no signaling, seriousness. Also, if you're Ashkenazi and go there, you'll stop complaining about the trauma that you have sitting in your shul for 2 hours. Watch these guys, 3.5 hours every Shabbos morning. So you got to go there at least one time. So he's like, how come I didn't tell this to the Americans? Okay, here I am, I tell them. Tell them that it's safe. We don't bite. Worst case, they leave with a little more simcha and a craving for Moroccan cigars. Mufleta, what is it called? Mufleta. By the way, the Thursday night cheer in Toronto is rocking with 30 people plus. You hear this? 30 people plus in Toronto. You know, go there, visit. Maybe Tzvika will be there. Who knows who'll be there? You're awesome. Keep the amazing work. You're the Trump of Daf Yomi. Chazaku Baruch. Yalla, give it to them. Jamie Azulai. This is Mamish. This is unbelievable, this one over here. Just wanted to share this video of how the shir has impacted my 6-year-old child. He wanted to watch the shir with me, but it was late. Later on, I went to check on him, and he was sleeping with his 24/6, playing your shir. Thank you. It's unbelievable. Check this out. Maybe put the volume on? He's out cold. It works on 6-year-olds and it works on 75-year-olds. It's gewaldig. It's a struggle to keep awake. Masechta sponsors David Solomon, dedicated memory of Moiri Reb Shmuel. Imagine a kid goes to sleep listening to Torah. It's unbelievable. Dedicated to memory of Avi Moiri Reb Shmuel Baruch Ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Doi Zichron Livracha. Masechta sponsors anonymous Lili Nishmas Doidi Shlomi Yehuda Ben Shmuel Chaim Asher Shok Havalom Kodshim Kol Chayav. Anonymous Zeich Nishmas Nochem Tzvi Ben David. Sponsored by Skybrook Capital. In honor of our friends Meir Kovacs, Taki, and Shamshi Shlavrak for the devotion, the Torah study, and the shir. Joel Gedalius, Lili Nishmas, my father Jack Gedalius. Anonymous, Hatzlacha Bruchnis Ubegashmius. Anonymous, Broch Adali Dai, Baruch Tzvi Nisim ben Shoshana Leah, Yudah ben Yomim ben Chava, by Tzvi Jacobs for Refuah Shlema for Brocha bat Chana. Weekly sponsors Anonymous, Refuah Shlema for Tinoik ben Chana Ilana, Ushi Weissman to Anonymous, by Anonymous, in memory of Anonymous. Reminds me, remember we had that basketball thing with the Woody, yeah, what is it?
And the Kill Twins.
And the Kill Twins.
And the Kill Twins.
Mordechai Stefansky, Zecha Nishmas, my great grandfather, my namesake, Rav Mordechai ben Rav Aaron Rabin, Zecha Tzagli Roch, maybe even Melis Yosher, for all the Mordechais, the entire Mishpacha, and all of Klal Yisrael. Ilan Davidovici, happy birthday to my wife, Mary Davidovici. It reminds me, we had in here in the show, right behind us, we had a guy, he was bidding an aliyah. And all of a sudden, a woman from the Nashim, she upbid him. Now the problem was, it was his wife. She didn't have that she's bidding. It happened in the shul. You remember the story? And they're bidding against each other. Maybe this is what's going on here. Yesterday was Miri. Yeah, it was his birthday, 50th.
No, the next line, I think he wrote it wrong.
We couldn't do it without you. Happy birthday to my wife, Mary Davidovici. We couldn't do it without you.
That's right.
Faberwood, IT team, Mazel Tov, Yehuda Shuk on the birth of a boy. Wow, it's like I believe it's his first boy, right? The Olam knows? First boy, I think this is Ben Yochid. He has girls, but he doesn't have boys, I believe. MDY Art. Monthly. No. Yeah? No. This is a shtickle mistake. Monthly. Refuah Shlema for Yonatan Eitan ben Bashev Bracha. Refuah Shlema Mordechai ben Esther. Refuah Hayel Daniel Zev ben Hayel Esther. What happened to the art? I don't know. Fell off somewhere. Okay. It's a little bit of a mistake there.
Why? It says MDY.
Yeah, but that was monthly. Something else, I believe. Okay, it says MDYR plus it says monthly on the same page, and I don't believe those are the MDYR guys. No, you know about Peh, the MDYR? No,
I don't know.
I have to start you off, and then you.
It is it.
It is the art. Oh, Yonatan Eitan, it is art. Okay, so why is he monthly? Stop, throw me off. Okay. Rabbi Zevachim holding up Samachei Omid Beis. The job today is to get to Samach Vav Omid Beis to the Mishnah. Let's see if we can do it. What do we learn? We're going to learn some very interesting things today about maybe even I received a video right before Shir, but I wasn't able to put it on the. This is on Kol Lashon. A guy did a live demonstration of Malika. Oh, boys, here it is. Now, maybe Yishkoyach, I don't know, put it up here, but maybe you could fast forward to the part. It's Givaldi. He has a beautiful mizbeach also. Keep on going. Oh, stop. Right over there.
אנחנו נדגים איך תופסים את היונה. כאשר אני תופס את רגלי היונה,
grabbing the feet of the pigeon with his pinky.
בין הזרת לקמיצה, מכניס את רגלי היונה בין הזרת לקמיצה.
Who found it, Kobe?
את כנפי היונה אני מכניס בין האמה לאצבע. כך תופסים את כנפי היונה בין האמה לאצבע, ומוריד את הראש על האצבע, וקוצץ ויורד עם האגודל.
Or you can do it with the other hand, if he's holding in his left hand.
זה שיטה אחת של התפיסה שיטה שנייה זה שזה בשמאל, הוא מכניס את רגלי העוף ביד שמאל בין הזרת למיצה, כמו שהראינו, ואת כנפי העוף מכניס בין האצבע לאמה, ואז מוריד את הראש וקוצץ ויורד עם אגודל של ימין, כי מניקה לכולנו היא צריכה להיות בימין. כל הנידון זה רק התפיסה. ישנה עוד שיטה.
That's if you hold it on the outside of your hand. Now he's going to show you how you hold it in the inside of the hand, in the palm.
מחוץ ליד של הכהן. אבל יש גם ציפרה מלגב, שהציפור נמצא בתוך היד של הכהן. וכך אנחנו נראה שמכניסים את הרגליים בין
האצבעות הללו,
והציפור בתוך היד שלי.
The only thing is to fold the wings to the inside rather than the back.
את הכנפיים בין האמה לאצבע, מוריד וקוצץ ויורד. ישנם כמה הבדלים בין עולת העוף.
Geschmack, very, very nice. One thing I noticed here, I don't know which came first. It says Yeshli Musag. So is it a play on what we say Musagim B'Shas? I don't know. The one on the left. But his mizbeach is unbelievable. It's gorgeous mizbeach. Look at this. Oh, it's not. No. Okay. I thought it's made out of stone. But okay, cool. It has the maracha thing. Okay, we also do. It's disconnected, right? It's the ramp is disconnected, correct? And he doesn't have the side ramp like we don't have the side ramp. Okay. So we learned that one of the differences between Ariel and a Chatas is the middle one, like in what is that? Orange, brown, gold. The Ariel, you do Malika, you go through the two simanim, the Kan and the Veshet. The Chatas, it says in the Torah, Lo Yavdil, you shouldn't go through the two. So what happens if you do go through the two? So the Mishnah says it's possible. If you go through the two, you basically, let's call it, you take off its head. That's how we call it. Removing the head, separating the head. It's not necessarily separating the head. It means going through the two simanim rather than the one siman. No good. So loy heiser samura, 3 lines from the top. Masnis and the loikir belazar Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon by Yochai's son, Reb Elazar, says that it's fine. In other words, this Sanya Omar Reb Elazar Reb Shimon Shamati Shemavdil. I heard Shemavdilim b'chatas ha'oif, that if you do remove the head of a chatas, it doesn't make it possible. The Torah says you shouldn't do it. Don't do it. But if you went ahead and you were over on it, don't be excited that you're going to get karas. You're not going to get karas. You're not going to get einish. Maybe you will get einish. But the animal itself doesn't have to be thrown out. It can continue being a carbon. That does not go like our Mishnah. So we have to understand why our Mishnah, we'll call our Mishnah Tanakama, and the son of Reb Shimon bar Yochai, they argue. What's the argument? So first of all, I want to show you, how, let's familiarize ourselves here. Over here you can see there's the Chut HaShidra, Amud HaShidra, the spinal cord, the spine. That's in the green, that's the white line that goes all the way to the right. When the Kohen puts his thumb through the back of the neck of the pigeon, he's going to hit that spine right away. He's going to sever the spine. Very interesting, last night at the Hebrew Shir, there was a shoichet from Pottsville, right? Otisville, what is it called? No. Otisville, Iowa. No, not Otisville, not the jail. He's a shoichet. Pottsville. The old Rubashkin place. He was here for the shir, and he asked me about this, but he told me something super interesting. He said that he drove from Pottsville, Iowa, to Illinois, to where I was in the hotel in Pesach. Took him 4.5 hours because he wanted to come to the shir. He wanted to tell me that he has a karsa toiv, that I changed his life as a shoichet in Pottsville. So he came to the hotel, and he walked in, and he saw a lot of from people, and he's a little shy. He turned around, went back into his car, and drove 4.5 hours back to Pottsville. That's what Pottsville, whatever it's called. Pottsville. He said it on video, he told it to Benny. He's like, I didn't want to disturb you. I saw there's a lot of from people there. I got back in my car. I stayed for half an hour. I looked from outside, and I drove back. So I'm going to tell you today. Okay, so he came to the shir. Now he's in Eretz Yisrael, so he came to the shir with his son. So he asked me about this. How does this work exactly? He's a shaychet, and he says, listen, when our knife hits that spine, it's completely possible. We go from the front, we can't hit the spine. How does his finger go through the spine? Okay, I don't know how it works with the pigeon. Now, let's just show this is all to understand slightly, because I called up Rabbi Weisfish, I left him a message. He helped me out a lot just by explaining. There's a couple of things I didn't understand. So one of the things he explained to me is that a pigeon is different than chickens and animals. When you shecht an animal, you come from the front of the neck and you cut the kan and the veshet, they're together. The trachea and the esophagus are together. The same thing with a chicken. When it comes to pigeon, he claims, there's a distance between the kan and the veshet. One is on the right side, let's call it, one is on the right and one is on the left. And there's a chunk of meat that we're going to be calling roiv basar. There's a piece of meat that covers something. There's a piece of meat. Now, there's two ways to cut the two simanim. Either you cut one siman and go through the roiv meat and cut the second siman, or you cut one siman and you kind of push the meat out of the way and go a little bit around, your nail's still in the pigeon, you push it away and you get to the second siman. You hear the two ways? One is to just go through and through and through, but to go through and through and through, it's going to take you a half a second or a second to cut through meat, roiv basar. And then you get to the second one, because you're going from the right side of the pigeon to the left side of the pigeon. To get there, you're going to have to go through some extra stuff that's a little bit of a hefsek. Let's call it a hefsek. Shihiyah. The other way is, I'm not exactly understanding exactly how it works, but just believe that there's something called, I could go to one and maybe maneuver my finger, kind of push it aside, push the meat aside and go straight to the second one. 1 and 2. Now, how do we do the malika for a chatos? Here, let's see a malika for a oif. For a oila. Here's the oila. Now, you see the white pipe that he's going to hit first is what? That's the spine. We're not talking about that. What we're looking for is this pipe right over here. This pipe is one. That's this is the esophagus, right? This is what he eats from. This is the trachea. Okay, so here goes.
I think it's the other way around.
The other way around. Right. The breathing from the breathing is the trachea. Correct. So here we go. He just cut one siman. You saw one siman, the esophagus, and now he's going to the trachea, and boom, he goes to the trachea. But in order to get there, and that's called yavdil, he did 2 simanim, chopped off the head. But there was a nice chunk of meat over there in the middle. You see that meat? Hold on. Sorry. That piece is called roiv basar. Now, how do you do the same thing by a chatos? So by a chatos, you go through, you hit the one siman. Do you stop there? Because you did one siman. That's all you're allowed to do is one siman. No. You have to go through the roiv basar and then stop short of the second siman. Because lo yavdil, you're not allowed to hit the second siman, but you must cut roiv basar. So that's very important for today's sugya. Again, by a chatos, you're not supposed to do 2 simanim. If you do 2 simanim, that's havdalah. Then you basically cut its head off. And you're not allowed to do that. It says in the Torah, lo yavdil. But, as we're going to see at the end of the sugya, mefurish in the Braisa, you mechuyev, me'ikir adin, it's not ma'akiv maybe, according to but you should lechatchila go through the roiv basar by a chatos. After you puncture the spine and one siman, and technically this pigeon is dead, you must continue going through roiv basar. That's important to understand. That right over there for the rest of the sugya. Okay. So what?
If you don't do Roiv Basar, it's possible.
That we'll see. That's a discussion today. But the Mishnah, the Gemara says that when we say that you're not allowed to go through the second siman on the chatos, that's not like Reb Elazar Reb Shimon. That's not like the son of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. The Sanya, Omer Reb Elazar Reb Shimon, Shamati Shemavdilim Bechatos Oif. Reb Elazar, the son of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, says that you do cut the two simanim. In other words, if you went through the second siman by mistake or whatever, it didn't make it possible. The Torah says you shouldn't. Okay, I'm not going to argue with the pasuk in the Torah, but it's not possible. My benayu. My benayu over here doesn't mean your typical my benayu, like what's the nafkamina? What is the svara behind the machlokes? Why do they argue? My benayu, where's the argument? To understand the next section of the Gemara, you have to understand this. Rabbi Isai, pay attention because you don't want to get lost here. It's simple, but you don't want to get lost. It's not complicated at all. In order for a chatas to be kosher, it cannot resemble an oila. If you do the avodah of an oila on a chatas, it's automatically possible. You hear this halacha? If you mimic the avodah of a oila on a chatas, throw it out. So let me show you something. Take a look. An oila, you have to do two things. What are the two things you have to do by an oila? The two avodas. What are the two avodas by an oila? Melika and mitzui. If you did those two things by a chatas, throw it out in the garbage. Because you mimicked the oila. If you do the oila on a chatas, in other words, you do two simanim, shtei simanim, plus mitzui, throw it out.
Either of the two or both?
If you do both, not either of the two, you have to do all the avodas like a chatas. So says the Gemara here, very interesting. This is all we're doing right now in this Amud, basically. The Gemara says, what's the machlokes between the son of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai and the Tanakama? The machlokes is very simple. If what I'm doing, I'm going to give you an option to cut off the head, but you make sure that you're not like an oila. You're allowed to cut off the head as long as you're not like an oila. How could I do a chatas not being like an oila and still cutting off its head? Step one, I messed up already. I did like an oila. I cut off its head. I did two simanim. I have to make sure that step two is not like an oila. Yeah? You with me?
So you don't do step two.
You don't do step two. If I could refrain from doing step two, then I could cut off its head. Our Mishnah says you cannot cut off the head. Reb Elazar Reb Shimon says you could cut off the head. So I'll explain to you why. Says the Gemara inside. Do I have to do mitzui by a chat? Do I have to squeeze the blood of this bird on the wall? Now, if I have to squeeze the blood on the wall, then I must do step two, and I did step one. Bam! Automatically, it is possible because I did exactly like a oila. But if I don't have to do mitzui on the wall, so then just refrain from doing the mitzui on the wall, and the fact that you cut its head off is not going to passel it because it's not like an oila. Now I just have to find two other things that I can do after I cut off its head, and make sure I'm not like an oila. What are those two other things? No, those are not makiv. Those are not makiv things.
We said hazah yesterday. They both have mitzui, but only Olav has hazah. So we said yesterday. They both have mitzui.
Okay. So that's the question: is mitzui ma'akiv or not ma'akiv? Now you're going to the hazah part. Yeah. Not good enough. Rav Chisda. Mitzui chatasoif ma'akiv v'giminayu. Tanakama sover mitzui chatasoif ma'akiv. Our Mishnah holds that you must do mitzui. If you must do mitzui, I can't say he didn't do mitzui. He knocked off the head, and then he has to go and squeeze the body on the thing. So you're identical to an oila. Identical to an oila, possible. V'kivin the mitzui dam ka'avid. Since he did mitzui, then he acted like a oila when he was doing the chatas, and that's possible. Reb Elazar Reb Shimon Sovar mitzui chatas oif loy ma'akiv. Rabbi Elazar holds that you don't have to do mitzui. So if you don't have to do mitzui, so after you cut its head off, I have an eitzah for you. Don't do mitzui. It's not ma'akiv, and then you won't pass it out of the animal, because if you did mitzui, then you'd mimic a oila. So don't do mitzui. It's not the end of the world. It's not, how do you say ma'akiv in English? Mandatory. Here, the Israeli got it before you guys. Where were you born? You were born in Chicago? No, I can't continue the share. I'm sitting next to this guy for 7 years, and he tells me now he's born in Chicago. Okay, you learn new things every day. Wow.
So you're doing like an Ola.
What do you mean? Because that's what you have to do by Ola.
You have to do by Chatas also.
It's not ma'akiv.
But it's not doing like an Ola, right?
What do you mean? No, an oil it's ma'akiv over here. It's not ma'akiv. You have to do it.
But I'm saying you're not further doing like an Ola. Mitzvah, it counts by Chatas also. It's one of the normal procedures by Chatas, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's ma'akiv, maybe it's not ma'akiv, but it's normal by Chatas, right?
Yeah.
So doing mitzvah by Chatas.
And this one time, if he cut both simanim by mistake, don't continue doing mitzui. So you're missing one avodah that's essential for oila, but not essential for a chatas. So it doesn't mimic the oila.
Isn't the vart that if the mitzvah is not ma'akiv by chatas, and as soon as you cut the first siman, you're done with the avodah for chatas. So when you cut the second siman, you're not doing an avodah anymore.
Okay, right. Here, look at the lashon over here. Look at the lashon. Here it is. So the fact that you're going weiter and you're cutting more, it's stam meat. You're already done because you don't have to do the mitzvah.
So it's not that the mitzvah makes it more like an ola. Mitzvah doesn't make it more like.
But if it is ma'akiv, it would be. But if it is ma'akiv, it would be like oila.
If mitzvah is ma'akiv be'chatas, you're not done with your avodah yet. When you cut the first siman. So when you cut the
that's what you're telling me? No. The word here is that you're mimicking. Here, look at the ka'avid ma'isa oila b'chatas oiv. That's the Gemara says it, not me. It's 5 words. Ka'avid. What does the Gemara want by that?
Ma'isa ola is the second siman. It's talking about the second siman. When you cut the second siman, you're doing.
No. The word over here is that you're mimicking. There's an isser to be like a oila, and those are the 3 tirutzim here. You'll see the 3 tirutzim are going the same thing. By the way, just as a spoiler, the Gemara at the end says, Rabbi Yirmiyah says, no, you don't have to come on to all these things. It's like a oila, not like a oila. The Torah says you're allowed to cut off the head. You don't have to come on to all this Torah. That's what he says all the way at the end. That's Rabbi Yirmiyah. But right now we're looking for 3 things that you're going to do. You're going to do melika and achatas, cut both simanim, and yet it's still not like a oila, and mela, it's okay. There's stam. I said this over yesterday in the shir. In the beginning, there was a lot of people that got trauma from this Maisa. It brought back not such good memories, but then a guy made a joke and then they got out of it. Basically, a bacher was in yeshiva. He wasn't behaving well in yeshiva, so the yeshiva threw him out. So the bacher was a Chassidish background, so he goes to his Rebbe and he complained to the Rebbe. So the Rebbe called up the yeshiva and he said, I don't understand why can't you do something over here? Why do you have to throw him out? So the Rosh Hashiva said, I wanted to be Mekayim Mitzvahs Zrika. So the Rebbe told the Rosh Hashiva, you should be Mekayim Mitzvahs Mitzui. Figure out how to work with him. Be Mematza the thing. So the Rosh Hashiva said, no, you don't understand. Mitzui is something you do with a bird. I threw out a behemoth. So you should have seen the Olam. They're like, oh, all dejected. And one guy that was thrown out 10 times, he was mamish, like he's, and then he spurted out something. He goes, the Rosh Hashiva was a behemoth, or something. And then the Olam laughed and they clapped. And okay, fine. Just for the joke, Shabbat. Okay, and a guy said it's like, if it wasn't true, it would be funny, something like that. Okay. Zog the Gemara, Rava Omar. Shehiyah b'simen sheni b'oila sa'oif ma'akev v'kibenayu. Oh, so now we're learning a new concept in Kachim called shehiyah. Shehiyah means pausing for a moment. if there's a continuous motion in a shechita, you go back and forth, you can do it all day long with the knife. You go like this for 2 hours straight in the shechita. If you're slow and you want to cut nicely, you go like this all day long. If you pause for one moment, doesn't matter, a moment, a half a second, you're done. It's over. So, here's the shiloh. It's a beautiful shiloh. Think about it. Shechita in general, if in Pottsville, whatever it's called, they shech Pottsville, whatever it's called. Postville, like a post office. Postville. In Postville, they shecht one siman on the chicken. It's good. You don't need to do 2 siman by chicken. That's by an animal you have to do 2 siman. One is enough. Yet, by a oila, there's a special halach you have to do 2. That's special halach by oila. Why? Because you have to cut the head off, but nothing to do with the shechita part, nothing to do with the malika. It's a side halacha. So since it's a side halacha, the question is, what if he paused in between 1 and 2? It's not a real malika. There's no pausing for the second one. I was yaitza malika with the 1. I have to do 2 for a side bir halacha in the Mishnah Berurah on the other side. Psazaitika halacha, nothing to do with the malika. But is there shihiyah or not? Am I over on shihiyah? So Memela, it goes like this. Tanakam is sover shihiyah b'simin sheni boilet soif loy ma'akiv. I said that. Tanakam is sover shihiyah b'simin sheni boilet soif loy ma'akiv. The Tanakama in our Mishnah holds that it's not a problem. To get to the second siman by pausing is not a problem. So if you do this by a chatos, then you're mimicking the oila. By cutting 2 simanim, it will be exactly like a oila. Oila, there's no problem with pausing, and you pause over here by the chatos, it's fine. Why is it pausing? Because you must, if you remember, by chatos, you must cut roiv basar. In order to be yaitza, you have to cut 1 siman and roiv basar. Now you cut the roiv basar, that's a pause. But if a pause is not a problem, then you did it like a oila. If you did it like a oila, pasul. So it goes like this, let's see, shia, 1 siman. There's 3 steps here. Step number 1 is cut 1 siman. Step number 2 is to cut the meat. Step number 3 is cut siman 2. The question is the center thing considered a pause between siman 1 and siman 2? Because you just wasted time and you're cutting more meat. It's like taking a knife and cutting the leg of the animal. Over here you're cutting meat in the neck. You don't have to. You can do siman 1 and then siman 2 by moving your thumb somehow and doing siman. Why are you cutting more meat? But if it's not a problem by a oila, so here, look what happens. You're doing the same thing by chatas and by oila. But if it's not a problem by oila, then what would happen to the chatas? No good, because now you mimicked the oila. But if it is a problem by oila, then it's not a problem by a chatas. You have what I'm saying over here? If pausing by the meat part, which you must do by a chatas, is problematic for an oila, then you can get away with a chatas. You can do it by a chatas because it's not. You have to do that by a chatas. You have to cut most of the meat, and it passes the oila. So memela, it's kosher by a chatas because you're not mimicking the oila.
Cutting the 2 simanim is kosher by the chatas.
Cutting the 2 simanim, continuing on, doing step 1, 2, and 3. Cutting simanim 1 by a chatas. Cutting the roiv basar by a chatas, which makes it possible by oila, and then cutting siman 2 by a chatas. Now you're not mimicking the oila really, because if you did the same exact thing by oila, that would be X on top. It would be no good. So mele it is good by a chatas. It's afuch al afuch. It's counterintuitive. If it is good by a oila, then it would be no good by a chatas because now you're mimicking chatas to oila and no good. But since shihiyah, cutting the roiv basar by a oila makes it possible. So if you did the same exact steps, which would make it possible by a oila, it's good by a chatas. Because by a chatas all you need is 1 siman, and you need roiv basar. The fact that you continued weiter and you did siman 2 is not a problem. I just want to we'll read inside the Moirdik Vardir from some Sefer. The Gemara says, Reb Elazar Shimon Sovar Ma'akiv. The kivin shaya. How do you do shia? By cutting roiv basar, by cutting that thickness of the meat. In step 2, mechatach basar ba'amo. So by a chatos it's okay because you just cutting meat. So this second, by pausing for a second during shechita pasels, so there's a machlokes in Mesechus Brachos. We're almost there, by the way. Like less than 2 years from now. Mesechus Brachos. Scary stuff. What happens if you're in a base medrash with a bunch of bachrim and you do Havdalah, but you don't have a candle? And then the candle comes in an hour later, in the middle of night seder. The olam is learning Torah, and they come in with a candle. So we have machlokes b'shamay b'sila. What do you do? According to one man, the Omar, one person is moitzi everybody, and the whole yeshiva answers amen. The other shita b'sila, no, each person should say it by themselves, or maybe it's fakir. I don't remember. I don't remember which one says what. What's the bittul Torah? So the machlokes is it bittul Torah or not? There's less bittul Torah if everybody says it by themselves. So the Pashup Pshat is, why is there less bittul Torah if everybody says it by themselves? Because in order to get the whole crowd to be quiet and realize that we have a candle, we're all going to get ready to listen to this bracha, takes 30 seconds to quiet down 1,000 guys in a base medrash. Imagine you go into Hebron and you bang on the bima until everybody chavs. Okay, quiet them down. Shash, still, you be quiet. You're in the middle of chavrusa. So everybody make the bracha themselves. Some Sefer says no. You know what the Bidul Torah is? That when the Chazan says Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Boyer Moreish, the whole tzibur has to say Amen. Amen takes a second. That's an extra second of Bidul Torah. If you just said the bracha by yourself, I said it by myself, and you said it by yourself, everybody said it by himself. The other sheet is Borei B'am Hadris Melech. You're supposed to do it biyachad. Okay, you hear what he's saying? According to some Sefer, we're concerned about 1 second of Bidul Torah. That's the whole machlokes between Bisham and Yisrael.
Say amen to the guy next to you.
No, you're all saying it together, so you don't say amen. No. If we both say bracha together, you don't say amen. If I say shahakal and you say shahakal at the same exact time, I don't say amen on yours. Anyway, just a ha'ara of what a fraction of a second does. Over here, it ruins the behem. Now, final thing. We have to get at least Talmud Aleph today. Roy basar ma'akev v'kibenayu. In a chatas, do I have to really cut most of the meat? Now what? Let's do this balpeh. If you need to go through roiv basar by a chatas, so by a oila, so in other words, start from the top. Everybody, according to Abaya, everybody agrees that this cutting through the roiv basar is ma'akev. That the she is ma'akev. Everybody agrees it's ma'akev. The question is, if by a chatas I must do the roiv basar, but if I must by a oila, it's going to be puzzle to go through roiv basar. Why? Because it's shihiyah and it's ma'akev. So, Abaye Omar roiv basar ma'akev v'kibenayu. So our Tanakama holds. This is like a little piece in Rashi. Rashi says that our Tanakama holds that he'll agree that if he actually didn't do shihiyah, he went around, let's say, it would be kosher. Just the Tanakama holds we have to make a gzeira. Maybe he won't go around. Maybe he'll go through the roiv basar. So maybe we said that if you knock off the head of the chatas, it's a problem. In other words, Abaye and Rava, here, let's just see it inside here. Here we go. If you do one siman and then shihiyah, and then second siman, according to, that's the machlokes, whether or not it's aser. And if you do the same thing in a chatos, it would be okay. So the shaila is if shihiyah is a problem or not. If roiv basar is ma'akev or not. Shihiyah avad, everybody agrees that's a problem. But do you have to do roiv basar or not? Sorry. In other words, Abaye and Rava, their two tirutzim is actually another machlokes of Amirayim, of Reb Zerim, of Shmuel, by Rav Yitzchak, Chadam Ashir b'Simin Sheni Boil Soif Ma'akev. This is, the second teretz of Rava is Shiyah Ma'akev. Ikibinai v'Chadam Roiv Basar Ma'akev Ikibinai. Question is Roiv Basar Miklal, but you're telling me the machlokes if he didn't do the Roiv Basar, is he yaitz or not? Miklal to be in a Roiv Basar b'Tchila. It seems like you must, lechatchila, you should cut through most of the meat, the roiv basar by a chatas. You do one siman plus the roiv basar. Yes, that's true. But Tanya, I'll prove it to you from a brayso. How do you do malika? Chaytech shidra. First, you cut through the spine. Umafrekes and the what is it called? I don't know how to say mafrekes and the neck bone. Beloy roiv basar. You don't do the roiv basar first. You go either to the right or to the left. You're going to bump in. You see how it says it over here? It's much like Weissfish. The vesh and the corner are not lined up one after another, rather they're to the sides. One is on the right, one is on the left. So you can make a right turn and get to the vesh, let's say, or make a left turn and get to the kana. You cut one of them. You cut one. Or most of it. And then Rabbi Isai, v'roiv basar imoy. Then you cut the roiv basar part. Uba when it comes to Ayla, Shnayim. Oyroiv Shnayim. In other words, the Gemara is saying that the machlokes is you need the entire thing, or have, according to Chacham, you have to cut both completely. According to Rav Elazar Shimon, Roiv. Amru Rabbanon Kamei the Rabbi Yirmiyah. Amru Kamei the Rabbi Yirmiyah. So they told over these three pirushim of how to cut off a chatas head and not be like an Oyla and be saved. Omar, he said, I don't understand, you didn't hear this? It's not a problem to cut off the head. What are you looking for all shtickle Torah when the Torah says you can cut off the head? And what is that? What do I mean that you shouldn't cut off the head? Ain't tzarich lahavdil. You hear this? When the Torah says don't cut off the head, the Torah doesn't mean don't cut off the head. The Torah says you don't have to cut off the head. No. By chatos, you don't have to do two simanim. One siman, and if you want to cut off the head, cut off the head. But all you need to do is one siman. It doesn't make any sense what you're telling me. Lo yavdil, in the whole Torah, what does loy mean? Loy means no. Now you tell me loy means you don't have to. Yes, a kasha. It says that the person dug a pit and he didn't cover it in the middle of Rosh Hashanah. It means loy. It's a recommendation. You should cover it if you feel like it. Doesn't make any sense. Now Taisus just points out real quickly. Taisus on the small Taisus. Shouldn't the Gemara ask from other things? It says a lot of times in the Torah, loy. Don't eat an avela, don't wear shatnez. Why did the Gemara ask from there? So he says that because over here logic tells me I should cut. Cut too. The more you cut, the better. Yeah? If the animal has two simanim, why not give it a quick death? Cut its spine, it's two things, it's better, no? Peter would love it. So misvara, it's better to cut two. That's why the Torah says, lo yavdil, that I don't have to take away from your svara. In a bar, the svara is, what does logic tell me in a pit? That you should cover it. Be a mensch, cover, you made a pit, cover it. So loy chasenu is coming to tell me, maybe, like by us, maybe loy chasenu means you don't have to. To tell me, look, don't wear shadows. There's no logic that you don't wear shadows. There's no logic you shouldn't eat an avela. It's not logic. The Torah says don't eat an avela. But something that has logic, then the Torah says don't do it. Maybe I'll think that the Torah is saying it's a recommendation. Before I show you this unbelievable video, no, I want to first show the video because it's a look. I just want to say Shalom Aleichem to our guest. Shalom Aleichem, you in the back. What's your name?
Yaakov Hallen.
Yaakov Hallen. From where?
Tom's River.
Tom's River. Shalom Aleichem. And you right in front of you in the back. You.
Canner. Yisrael Canner.
Shalom Aleichem. Your son down is behind me. Shalom Aleichem. And you? From? Williamsburg. Shalom Aleichem, you? Together. Givaldik. I want to show you Givaldik a video. Take a look. I like it a lot. Okay, you ready? Let's show the video, please. I know, so let me press.
Son, smoking is not allowed on the plane.
No doesn't mean no, but rather unnecessary.
I'm ATMDY right now, and you won't believe how many coffee machines there are here. No doesn't mean no, but rather unnecessary.
Doesn't it say, כי יחרה איש בור ולא יחסנו? No doesn't mean no, but rather unnecessary.
All right. So Zog the Gemara. The Gemara had to have a mean of lo ychasenu means it's a recommendation. Maybe I should have helped them with the English a little bit. Unnecessary. Okay. Says Gemara, what do you bring me a raya from a bar? Hasam kivin d'chsiv bala bar yishaleng. Torah says mefurish that the owner of the bar should pay iloveu derami l'chasuye. So obviously, if he has to pay, if it's open, then what? For the movie. Yeah, two. So memela, it's obvious that he has to cover the pit. Yeah. Thank you. His v'lo chasenu is going on the person that has to pay. So if you have to pay, obviously it means you have to cover. Now, lo yavdil lamali. To read it pashat is a little complicated. It doesn't go well, says Rashi. So Rashi has his own pshat. Lo yavdil lamali, shma mina ein tzorch lahavdil. So Rashi's pshat is like this, very simple. It says bikrivoi. Bikrivoi means only, it's a limiting. Only this do you have to cut 2 simanim. How do I know bikrivoi means they have to cut 2 simanim? Because it says lo yavdil. Lo yavdil means that it's a recommendation. Rishos. You don't want to cut 2 simanim, don't cut 2 simanim. You could if you want to, you don't have to. And then the vart is number 3 is because if lo yavdil means that it's asr, like we thought to begin with, in the whole sugya, lo yavdil, don't cut 2 simanim, it's asr. Then maybe the krivai is 1 step less than that. If lo yavdil means asr, so what's 1 step less than asr? It's the opposite. Then the kriva would mean it's a rishos. By oila it's a rishos. So maybe you have to say that the kriva is a chiyuv and lo yavdil is a rishos. That's why we say lo yavdil by us. Lo yavdil means you could if you want to. Because if it doesn't mean that you want to, then the kriva means that it's a rishos. Just real quickly, I see it's already Kamat Shachar, we didn't get covered Aleph. I just want to say like this, because sometimes it bothers me. There are people, you walk in the street, you say hello to them, you say good morning to them, and they give you like a sour face. Like the chashivas, the too chashiv to smile to you and say good. So there's once a bacher that did that. He was walking around, and Rabbi Shlomo Salanter told him, you're a bar b'shus harabim, because your face is a public thing, people see it, and by you walking around with a frown on your face, don't think you're chashiv, the opposite, you're a bar b'shus harabim. Okay. Weiter. I was going to say Rabbi Victor Miller, but we don't have time. Says the Gemara, I'll say it, because why not? Rav Avigdor Miller said a guy came to him real quickly. A guy comes to him before Yom Kippur, says, what should I do for schus? I need extra schus. He said, smile to people. He says, smile to people. He says, yes. The Ma'aseh Shahaya, they wanted to fire some people. How do you say it when you layoffs. They had to do some layoffs. So they recommended this and this guy to lay off. He says, you crazy Shimon, I'm going to lay him off. So what if his production is not the best? Well, I lay him off. He comes with such a smile. He gives such energy to the company needs people like this. The opposite. He's building the company. So says Rav Avigdor Miller, same thing with the Rebbeinu Shalom. If you're the guy that always has a smile and you always give people energy, you come in and when people see you, they have a geschmack. Hashem says, this guy, we can't lay him off, so to speak. We gotta keep him around. Zog the Gemara.
Might as well do turning the daf, even though you're not turning the daf. The guy paid for it.
We're gonna get there. What do you mean not turning the daf? Of course we're gonna turn the daf. Oh, you're saying we're just gonna let's get to the Mishnah to the end of the parak. Then we'll do turning the daf. We'll do something new. Zog the Gemara.
Mitzah dam haguf.
Where am I?
Mitzah.
Oh, mitzah dam haguf. Nusugi Rabboisa. So we said in the Mishnah that if you squeeze out the blood of the body, that's enough. Even though you didn't take out the blood from the head. I would think that if you squeezed the head on the wall, but you didn't do the body, that's okay. Who? What does who mean? How do you see it? Most of the blood is in the body itself. So that's the ikr mitzvah. So you have to squeeze the body, and you don't have to squeeze the head. Hadran aloch kochi kochim. Hadran aloch kochi kochim. Hadran aloch kochi kochim. We have a few more minutes. Says. Oh, it's a gishmak and I'll say it a different time. Chatas ha'oif. This is very, very simple. Rabbi, if you don't even look inside, the words could be confusing. We know all these halachas. If you do a chatos, where you're supposed to do a chatas, which is above the red line, and you thought about a chatas, and you did everything like a chatas, is it kosher? Yes. That's the first line in the Mishnah. Chatas ha'oif sa lemato. I'm sorry. Chatas ha'oif. Now we're talking about a bird. So if you take a bird and you do it where you need to do it, here, like over here, chatas ha'oif, that's what you're supposed to do a chatas ha'oif. The animal is above the limit. He did everything like he was supposed to do, in the right place, in the right time, with the right thought. L'shem chatas, with the right kshera. No chiddush over here. If he did the action of a chatos, but he thought that it's an oila, that's the first Mishnah in Zevachim. That if by a chatos you have the wrong thought, you think that it's the different animal, a different carbon, possible. Kemaisa oila, l'shem chatos. He took this chatos, but did the actions of oila, we're going to see what it means exactly. He did the avoid of oila in a chatos, that's also possible. Shem chatos. Kemaisa oila, shem oila, psula. And of course, if he took a chatos and did everything, the action of a chatos, the machshav of a chatos, it's possible. If he did it above the red line, over here he's supposed to do it below the red line. He did it above the red line. The place is wrong. What's the halacha? And he did it either like a oilo and thought like a oilo, whatever it is. Psula, it's possible. Why? Because the makom is an afkamina. Now we're moving on to oilo sahib. Oilo sahib he's supposed to do above the red line. So Shasala Malak Maisa Oilo L'Shem Oilo, he did everything the right way. Pasha that it's kosher. We're just trying to be symmetric here. We don't have to say this line, but we say it. But if he thought about it that it's another carbon, that's in the first Mishnah of Zevachim, it doesn't ruin the carbon. Ella Ksheira. You have to bring another one. I got to tell you this because it's very important. I'll say it in 1 second. Today or yesterday was my 6th year of giving a shir every single day without missing a single day in 6 years. 6 years. It's a long time, and it's a neis nigla. 5 years is a neis nigla. 1 year is a neis nigla. Half a year for me is a neis nigla. 6 years, but I think anybody could do it if you just put your mind to it. If you took this oila and you made it like a chatos, you did the avoida, the melika, the meat, everything like a chatos. We'll see in the Gemara what it means. Or kemaisa chatas shem chatas. He did everything, even the machshava was that a chatas, but it's a oila, psula, then it's possible because the mice is no good. Asa lamata k'maisa kulon. And if you did it below the red line, instead of above the red line, psula. Let's turn the page so at least we could do the sponsorship. Turning of the daf is sponsored Lilu Nishmas Reb Zelig by Dark Global Lilu Nishmas Reb Zelig ben Rav Meyer Meisels Lilu Nishmas Reb Yehuda Doi Berim Yisrael. Anonymous. Zechus v'atzlach and ruchnis and gashmis. Judah Lishev and Batya Schlesinger. V'atzlach and Simcha for Yehuda ben Dvorah Lishev Miriam Baschana and Batya Bas Lishev Miriam. Says Gemara the Shani b'Mai. What did he change? Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.